Brother and lads, welcome back to Kossi's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. It is March day, so I'm going to be diving into my prediction for the Arsenal Bodo Glimt game. It's at the Emirates Stadium, so don't be surprised if I give Arsenal a win. And of course, remember, I have a very good track record. I predicted 3-1 against Tottenham Hotspur, and I got it spot on. So can I got two games in a row getting it right, getting the prediction spot on? That is the big question. Of course, my predicted lineup as well. Who should start? Who should actually be rotated in this game? I think a few starters in this team are going to be required. So don't be surprised if I go back on my words. I said rotate the whole 11. But I've changed my mind since then. I think Bodo Glimt are quite a very, very strong side. Hit the like button for me. Your boy needs 300 likes on this one. Subscribe to the podcast as well. We need to get to 60,000 subscribers. And you guys have always done it. And we will do it together. Now, my prediction is quite timid. I mean, I know many people are expecting 4-0, 5-0. That is not my prediction. I'm going to go for a humble 3-1 prediction in terms of Arsenal, in favor of Arsenal. And this is why. I've looked at Bodo Glimt in their last game against PSV. I've looked at the highlights. I've looked at how they played. I've looked at the statistics in that game, the momentum bar and everything. They're not a side that I thought would be that easy. So coming at the Emirates Stadium, they're quite a brave side, by the way. I think it's going to be a very interesting contest. So I'm going to go Arsenal 3, Bodo Glimt 1. They will score. They will create chances. I don't trust Matt Turner in goal, although I'm going to pick him in my starting 11. But I think Matt Turner will concede. I look at the goal we conceded against FC Zurich. In my opinion, Zurich should never have a shot on goal in that game. They shouldn't have a shot on goal. But the problem is when you rotate players, you lose some quality to the bench. You lose some quality to the players that are not with the players that are actually not playing. That's why I've gone Arsenal 3, Bodo Glimt 1, using the home advantage at the Emirates Stadium, and also the momentum and the form we are in. So Bodo Glimt, good team. I think they can put up a fight, but I don't see them going past Arsenal. I don't see them, create those many problems at the Emirates Stadium. In the reverse fixture, when we go to Norway, probably that is when I will be more scared about them. But I'm going to go 3-1. It is timid. It is not the 4-0. It is not the 5-0 I wanted to predict. But let's go with that. So my starting 11, I think Mikel Arteta is going to do a lot of rotations. Now, the good news is I've done some more digging in terms of who is available, who's not available. And Mikel didn't talk about any injuries yesterday. Right this morning, there are no injury updates. There was a story moving around that Fabio Vieira had picked up some kind of injury, but it doesn't seem so, right? So that the story was that Fabio Vieira had picked up a knock in training, but there is nothing to, back up that. There is nothing to give us more information on that. So Fabio Vieira makes it to my team as well. So let's get into it. In goal, Matt Turner. I know many Arsenal fans are still afraid whenever they see Matt Turner in goal, and I'm personally one of them. I'm one of those. I'm really skeptical about the quality of this guy. In the FC Zurich game, early in the game, there was a howler that he almost gave away. I think it was kind of a poor back pass. And then he also loses concentration somewhere. And Arsenal barely survived. And then throughout that game, yes, he was not tested. And actually, I think this is a very, very good game for Matt Turner. We're going to see what Matt Turner is all about. Is he a quality goalkeeper? Is he a good shot stopper? Does he have this kind of good reflexes? Or is he just a goalkeeper good with his feet? Because for me, in preseason, many Arsenal fans will agree with me. What we saw was not very impressive. What we saw was not, it wasn't convincing. I wasn't convinced about him in preseason. But I've always said players need a clean slate. Players need to be given the chance. Players need to be given the opportunity to prove themselves. And for me, for Matt Turner, this is the games. These are the games. He's so lucky that Mikel Arteta trusts him. Mikel Arteta believes in him and he has given him the authority and the chance to play in the Europa League, in the group stages, right? Because other managers, they will play Ramsdale in the Premier League, play Ramsdale in the FA Cup, play Ramsdale in the Europa League as well. So Matt Turner in goal. I will go with him, but I'm not 100% contented, right? I'm not 100% contented, but I hope he can put in a very good show. At right back, I'm going with Cedric Soares. He's back and fully fit. He's one of the two players that are back, are returning, and are fully fit. Cedric and Reece Nelson. So I'm going with Cedric Soares at right back. Now, I thought about going with Tomiyasu at right back and playing Bodo in the centre back position, and then I also thought about playing Ben White at right back. But I've decided to go with Cedric Soares because he's returning. I think we need him for squad rotation. We need to rest a few of our players, especially given the fact that we have Liverpool coming up. But Cedric is a natural right back. And he's one of those right backs that will help us create the chances up front. His crossing is not that good. Again, it's not that very poor. So you'll expect a lot of work for him in the final third when he plays at right back. And defensively, against a team like Bodo Glimt, he should be able to put in a good shift. Okay, so Cedric at right back. Now at centre back, I've gone with Ben White and Tomiyasu. So right centre back, Ben White. That is why I've played Cedric Soares as a right back. So right centre back, I've gone with Ben White. Ben deserves to rest. Ben deserves some kind of squad rotation. But I think the bigger names to rest and rotate in this Arsenal squad in defense are Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba. Those two for me should not appear anywhere in this game. They need to rest. We need to rotate them as much as we can. And for me, this is a perfect example of a game. So I've gone Ben White at right centre back. We all know the kind of work is done at right back. And I think it's this kind of games that will remind Gareth Southgate that this boy is very good as a right as a right centre back. I looked at Tomori, I looked at Harry Maguire, I'm looking at the likes of Eric Dyer, and I'm asking myself, what has Ben White got to do to start for England every single match? He's been Arsenal's best player at right back this campaign. Solid defensively, solid in terms of keeping the ball. He allows us to play in that back three. I don't know. If you want him to play in a back three, on the right hand side of a back three, he can do that. So Southgate, he needs to clear his mind as quick as possible about Ben White. So Cedric, Ben White are going to play on the right-hand side of my defense. Ben White as right centre-back and Cedric as right-back. Left-hand side centre-back, I've gone with Takehiro Tomiyasu. Now, don't ask questions about this. We know the versatility of Takehiro Tomiyasu. He has played at left-back before. He has played at centre-back before. And he's played at right-back as well before. I think he's one of those players that Mikel Arteta knows. Whenever I place him, whenever I tell him to play, he's going to give everything he has and he's going to give me the best game of his life. So, Takehiro Tomiyasu at centre-back. Originally, according to scout reports and initial information we got while we were trying to scout him, he played as a centre-back. Actually played more in a back three rather than in a back four. That is why when we signed him, there was this kind of fear that Arsenal have signed a centre-back as a right-back. But in the end, I think it's just proven to be what Mikel Arteta wanted. A player who can play across the back line comfortably and very, very happily. So for me, Tomiyasu joins Ben White at centre back. I think that centre back partnership should be able to stop a Norwegian side. I don't know if I'm underrating them. Right, I've done my research. That is why I've gone a little bit stronger. I think I'm not underrating them really. And then of course Kieran Tierney at left back. So it's now clear. Alexander Zinchenko is going to be the main guy in the Premier League, the main guy in these big games because of his ability to tuck into the midfield and allow Xhaka, progress high up the pitch. Kieran Tierney is learning that slowly but surely. He's learning that new role as an inverted fullback. You literally don't go to the byline. You literally don't go to into the penalty area to score. You're around the midfield. You're playing as a central midfielder from that left fullback position. And Zinchenko is doing it very well. Kieran Tierney did it very well in the FC Zurich game. You remember I gave him a lot of credit for that because it was kind of a new role for him. And he didn't struggle for me. He's actually learning. Slowly but surely he will get there. So Kieran Tierney is gonna play for me there, and I still reckon he will play as an inverted fullback. Play alongside Lokonga and Xhaka in that midfield, just to allow us to have that dominance in midfield and create overloads as well. I played a midfield pivot. Number 1 is Granit Xhaka. So I want to rotate Xhaka. I want to rotate the whole 11. But Xhaka is irreplaceable right now. There is no player that can replace Granit Xhaka at the moment. We don't have a central midfielder that can replace Xhaka. I thought about Emil Smith-Rowe, like if he comes back, probably in the future. But even Smith-Rowe, for me, doesn't do it the way Xhaka does it. Xhaka has become so important. And I asked you this after the FC Zurich game. And I said, is Granit Xhaka the most important player for Mikel Arteta right now? And 90% of you told me, because yes, he's the most important player for Mikel Arteta. There is no doubt about that. So I've gone with Granit Xhaka in that midfield pivot. He's going to have a lot of work to do defensively and also offensively. We saw this in the Brentford game when he was playing as the only creative spark in the game, and of course adding to the defensive ability of the team, creating a very good chance for Gabriel Jesus. That was absolutely fantastic, but also making sure that Brentford were not actually catching us on the break and destroying our system. So Granit Xhaka alongside Albert Sambi Lokonga. I'm impressed with Thomas Partey, and I know this player should be protected. That's why I've rested Thomas Partey. Partey needs regular football. He needs consistent games, and he needs all this, kind of game time. But Partey is a risk. Playing Partey in such a game while you have Liverpool over the weekend is a risk I'm not willing to take. Look, I don't know how good Bodo are when it comes to winning the ball back and dominating games. I don't know how good they are, especially when they play a quality side. But I think Lokonga and Xhaka, that midfield pivot, should be able to win the ball back when we lose it, and should be able to progress the ball into those dangerous areas. In the final third, 30 yards up the pitch, 25 yards up the pitch. So for me, Xhaka, Albert Sambi Lokonga. I know Lokonga is not liked, is not very popular among the Arsenal fan base, but trust me, he is good. He will come around. I've seen a few stories linking him to Juventus, and then Manuel Locatelli coming the other way. It's just frustration. It's just that Arsenal fans and pundits feel Lokonga is never going to work out as an Arsenal player. But in my opinion, fuck off. He will work out, and I want him to come and join Xhaka in that midfield pivot. Now, 3 behind the striker, I've gone with Bukayo Saka on the right-hand side of the pitch. Where is Marquinhos? I hear you going to be asking me that. Where is Marquinhos? Now, I told you, I've done my research about Molde, and I've discovered they're not a side that you must be disrespecting all through. And that's why, in the last game against FC Zurich, we played Gabriel Martinelli. I think Martinelli is the least rotated player for Arsenal this season, and Martinelli and Xhaka and Gabriel Magalhaes. Actually, those 3, they're the least rotated players, and I'm trying to rotate them in this fixture. So Saka plays on the right, and look, I think we no longer have these big problems of Saka needs to rest. We don't have those problems because you have these rotations where Saka comes off, Edin Ketia comes on, and things like that. So Saka starts, in my opinion. He's direct, he's fast, and I think he's got that ability to tear apart weak defenses, and that is what I want in this game. I want him to show me that he's not falling off a cliff. I want him to show me that this season he's as consistent as he has been in the recent seasons. Now, I've looked at how he's played in the last few games. He has come around. He's running again. He's playing with passion again. The attitude is better. The energy is back. I want him. Yeah, I want him to start over Marquinhos. And of course, in the 70th minute, we should bring on Marquinhos for Saka. When we win the game, probably 3-0 by 70th minute. If it all goes up according to plan, then Marquinhos comes in over Saka. Number 10 is Fabio Vieira. Should be playing in that number 10 role as part of the front three as well, behind Edin Ketia. So Fabio Vieira, we are yet to see the best of him, and I think the more we see him in the Europa League, the more we'll understand what he is all about. And I think the more time he gets in the Europa League, the more you'll get to the more you'll get used to the system, understand what Mikel Arteta requires of him, and things like that. But look, as a number 10, I don't think he really wants to play around or behind the striker. He wants to play on the right hand side or on the left hand side of the pitch. Actually, is one of those players that I've seen. He tilts his game towards Saka's wing. He tilts his game towards the right wing. And I don't have a problem with that as long as he creates the chances. As long as he doesn't become anonymous. So Fabio Vieira for me, with Saka, and then Reece Nelson. Mikel said Reece Nelson is going to get his chances. He said he's fully fit. And this is a competition where you're going to see more of him. This is the game. This is the game for us to see Reece Nelson. These are the kind of games for us to see Reece Nelson. I don't know how many people believe in him, but I have a strong feeling Reece Nelson will be sold either in January or in the summer. I have a very, very strong feeling about it. He will be sold either in January or in the summer. Now, he went out on loan with Feyenoord last campaign, did very well. And according to Mikel Arteta in his press conference yesterday, he said, we want to see what Reece Nelson has learned. We want to see how far he has developed and whether he can turn all that kind of knowledge on the pitch throughout the 90 minutes. In my opinion, Reece Nelson is not a bad player, right? Not a bad player. It has always been with his output. It has always been with his final ball, right? Bringing those free kicks that don't even, go past the first defender. Bringing those corners that don't even go past the first defender. If you can work on those, I think there is a player in there. I said it yesterday. I think there is a player in there. And finally, to complete the starting 11 is Edin Ketia. Nketiah has not had enough game time this campaign, but that is nothing to worry about. He signed a mega contract for around 80 to 100k per week, so I think it must be contented. And of course, is the direct second striker at Arsenal. The moment Gabriel Jesus picks up a fifth yellow card or a red card, it is always going to be Edin Ketia. So I know he's praying that he gets more game time. But in the Europa League in the first game, an assist and a goal, is capable of destroying such teams, especially FA Cup, Carling Cup, Carabao Cup, Europa League. Those are his fixtures. Those are his games. So for me, Edin Ketia plays in this game. Now, the changes I would love to see, definitely, Gabriel Jesus coming on in the 80th minute for Edin Ketia, to give that kind of continuity to Gabriel Jesus. Martinelli coming on for Reece Nelson in the 80th minute as well, just to allow Martinelli, feel it just for a moment, and Martin Odegaard as well coming on. Partey should not play in this game. Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba should not play in this game. William Saliba should not play. Zinchenko should not play in this game as well. So I think there are around 5 or 6 players that I don't want to see near the pitch in this game. The rest can come on just for purposes of warming up. And also maybe Martin Odegaard. I thought about Martin Odegaard. If he plays in this game, probably to raise his standards. He had a knock, right? He had an injury, and he traveled with the Norwegian side. And when in that Tottenham Hotspur game, you could see he was the missing spark. He was the only guy with his mojo missing. The rest of the team was absolutely brilliant. So if this game is going to raise his standards, allow him get his confidence, allow him run off all those knocks and fatigues and injury concerns, then I would be okay with Martin Odegaard starting. Overall, after all, he's even better than Fabio Vieira at the moment. So that would be my starting 11. Couple of changes, but not changing the whole 11. I've changed my mind. My prediction is a 3-1 Arsenal to win. I hope they don't disappoint. As always, come on, you Gunners. I'll speak to you in the next one.